Yo, what's poppin'? We are here with two NA games, two quick 3-0s, so not a lot to report on. But there will be videos upcoming this week. I'll do a power rankings for the final of the kickoff clash. I'll do some previews for the upcoming tournament. Teams have selected everything, so those should be good. Yeah, that's mostly it. But starting off, we have the Boston Uprising at 2-3 against the Dallas Fuel at 4-1. Now, if Boston 3-0'd this game, they would have made it into the Kickoff Clash tournament over the Washington Justice. Unfortunately, they did not, and they in fact got 3-0'd by Dallas. Not unexpected. So New Queen Street, pretty much a wash for Boston, as all these maps are. Dallas just kind of dominate. Dallas wins 78-41. Boston playing Valentine, Victoria, Punk, Crimzo, and Faith. Dallas playing Edison, Doha, Hanbin, Fielder, and Chio. Boston and Dallas both playing Reaper, Soldier, Zarya, Ana, Lucio. Dallas get like 40 meters before Boston makes any progress at all. And Dallas is just a better team at the comp, being the ones that have pioneered it. Basically, all the NA teams are copying them when they're playing this. So it makes sense that they're the best at it. And Boston Dreams get crushed right away, and there's really nothing to say. Dallas are just better at every single aspect of this composition, and there really is not a lot to say. Dallas are just a better team, and that's going to continue. On Dorado, it's a 3-2 victory for Dallas. These are the only 2 points that Boston get in the series. A whole bunch of changes, though. Itzel comes in for Punk, MCD comes in for Crimzo, Guerrillo comes in for Edison, Sparkle comes in for Doha, and Fearless comes in for Hanbin. So both these teams looking to play the Winston based on their tanks that they put in. Both teams running the Widow, Genji, Winston on a Brig. Dallas get past first pretty easily, mostly off of a Sparkle Nano Blade to win first. Guerrillo shoots some guys. Dallas get into third with 420. And then they finish the map with 147, maybe stalling a little bit on the third point, but nothing out of the ordinary. Just building up ults and using them. Boston offense, same compositions. And Boston actually steamroll through the first in like a minute. But Guerrillo gets 2 very nice picks to stop Boston under the bridge and basically halt their momentum for a bit. They do squeak into third in overtime, but Dallas just put them to rest under the bridge and don't let them get anywhere. So Boston has some pushback. It's not like they're getting turbo stomped, unwinnable fights against Dallas, but like Dallas are consistently better than them, whether it be alt management, alt tracking, how to play the compositions, what they're looking for. Less so to the extent on Zarya. On Zarya comps, Dallas is much better. Again, on the Winston comps, they're just much better than Boston. So moving on to Kings Row, quick 3-0 for Dallas. All those switches get reversed, so Punk is in, Crimzo's in, Edison's in, Doha's in, and Hanbin is in. Back onto the Zarya comp. And Dallas cap out with 110. It takes them a little bit to get past the first point, but they make it through after some Beyblading, and other than that, not too much of note. And they just kind of full hold Boston on the defense. I didn't really feel like taking any real notes for this match. It just kind of happens, just kind of goes with the flow, you know? So overall, we'll continue to play peak Zarya compositions for the West at least. Probably, I would say, in the league, but it's hard because the competition's different. It's exactly what we expect. There's no real negatives to their gameplay other than like small nitpicking, you can argue. And Dallas are remaining dominant heading into the kickoff clash tournament, and they do claim second place. And Boston didn't really play poorly. They just are against the Dallas Fuel. There's not much they can do about it. The Thomason player of the match is guest Chio. He was in the whole time. I can't really give it to someone who's only in 2/3 of the time, I think. So some pretty solid backline plays, some great peels, good beats, no noticeable mistakes, and that's all you really want from a main support. Obviously, anyone on Fuel could get it, but sure, we'll give it to Chio. Moving on to the second match, which I thought was going to be much nicer and much closer, but it was better, as it was more fun to watch because I like seeing Atlanta crumble after losing to London, to be honest. But we have the LA Gladiators against the Atlanta Reign, who at the beginning were both 3-2 with a +4 map differential. Very different teams they played, though. Of course, Glad's losing only to the Shock and the Fuel and Atlanta losing to some teams like London and I forget who else, but not nearly as impressive as Shocker Fuel, regardless. New Queen Street, don't have the thingy here. Glad's end up winning it. Glad's playing Kevster, Patafon, REINER, Shu, and Funny Astro, with Atlanta playing Kai, Nero, Hawk, UV, and OG. Gladiators playing the London comp of Soldier, May, Ryan, Bap, Lucio against Atlanta's standard Soldier, Reaper, Zarya, Ana, Lucio. The first death came at 1 minute and 30 seconds into the round, and it was on Nero. Kai is hitting a flank behind the Gladiators, but Gladiators just pushed the barrier almost to the checkpoint after the first real push. Because they have more cart presence. It's the same story as with London. Their comp is better at taking fights here. Gets more brawly. And Hawk swaps over the Doom and they win the fight, but they lose the next one right away. And Gladiators keep on pushing. Atlanta try to gain like 80 meters in overtime against alts. And they only manage to get like 30 or so, and Gladiators win. There's a cool moment where Kevster gets slept and Shu has the nerve not to lamp him, and he gets at a 5 HP, which I thought was very nice. It shows the limits that Shu knows for that character. And it was very... I thought for sure you'd lamp the guy that's sleeping in front of the spawn of all the dudes, but that's just crazy. Atlanta at the end saying well played cheese comp, and Selfless Brad, their head coach, saying before the match from after yesterday, they said no one else is going to do what London did, so it's whatever, they'll just go next, they don't have to focus on it at all. The Gladiators say, well, clearly you do not know how to beat it, so we'll just play it back. Very good, exciting stuff. On Circuit Royal, we get a bunch of swaps. Ons comes in for Patafan, Space comes in for REINER, Scoot comes in for Funny Astro, and Venom comes in for Nero. So, on Atlanta's offense, Gladiators playing Hanzo, Widow, Double Sniper with Sigma, Bap, Zen, while Atlanta are playing the Widow, Tracer, Sigma, Zen, Bap. Of course, we expect the Tracer with Venom being in, but I'm not sure why Venom is in. I don't think you'd want the perma-run Tracer on this map. I don't think many teams have been perma-running it. It's a good option, it's a strong option to have sometimes, but all about to be locked into it, I'm not sure about that coaching decision. The Gladiator snipers are just clicking heads, and the Atlanta Reign are struggling to find any purchase getting around the bend. They were held at the first corner for a bit. They do make it to the bend, but it's not enough. Venom swaps over to Hanzo, but he's diffed right away by either sniper. And the Gladiators are looking dominant, holding Atlanta, not even like all the way towards the checkpoint, just like around the first bend. Like, not great for Atlanta. And the Gladiators just kind of easily win the map, staking on their composition. And it's just a sniper diff. And Venom was doing air on Tracer, and it's pretty hard to find Tracer into that composition. What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to annoy Widow while making sure he doesn't get rolled by any of the snipers or Zen or Sigma rocked. There's a point here where Space hits a rock on the recall, and it was very clean. It's just you're asking far too much from Venom to do anything with his composition against that composition. There's nothing with him. It's very hard to go on anything, and there's just not a lot for him to get done. Moving on to King's Row, 2-1 victory for the Gladiators. All those swaps get reversed, so Patafon comes back, REINER comes in, Funny Astro comes in, and Nero comes in. On the Atlanta offense, we get the Gladiators once again running that Soldier, May, Ryan, Bap, Lucio comp, with the Atlanta Reign running the Soldier, Genji, Zarya, Ana, Lucio. Kai swaps over to Hanzo after a fight, and Atlanta do get into second with about 4 minutes off of a Graviton Surge. But Gladiators are holding them at the arc, and Wall plus Blizzard catches out Hawk. Atlanta do manage to push past that arc once REINER goes down, but the Gladiators hold on that last corner on second, and they hold Atlanta there. So Atlanta's still struggling against this run composition, and they'll do it again on the offense because why not? This time Hawk is on the Doom instead of the Zarya. Gladiators rotate all the way up to the Atlanta high ground, but while they do that, Atlanta just kind of run on the guys who couldn't make it. I believe it was, I think Kevster and Shu maybe didn't actually go up. So they win the first fight off of that. But there's another point here. A little later, I think there's another fight or so. Reiner shatters a May wall, which is, and they still win the fight. Hawk did die early, so that would be the key reason. Not the shattering the May wall, but maybe it helped. Kind of disrupt the mental of the already seething Atlanta Reign. And the Gladiators enter second with like 4 minutes or something, or 3 minutes. And they roll through that arc fight because, yeah. And then Atlanta C9, the last fight, and the Gladiators just cap for free. So here's some images of Nero saying get off Rein and saying you guys are playing really well. Very, very interesting. So overall, Gladiators played that rush comp that London beat them with yesterday, and it's very funny that Selfless said they wouldn't need to prepare for it, but the Gladiators definitely didn't play that comp better than London. I think London probably play it more cohesively and stronger overall, but maybe the Gladiators are proving that the Ryan Rush has some merit and that it needs to be looked at least on some points. And the Atlantic coaching, very questionable. I still don't understand that putting Venom in on Circuit Royale with the Sigma. It's asking far too much for him, and there's still having no answer to the rush that you just lost to maybe isn't great. And Atlanta kind of seem to be in shambles. Their ego's at an all-time low. There's no smiling, and when Atlanta's not smiling, it is not looking good for them. I don't know. It's a little worrisome if you're an Atlanta fan going into the tournament. Comments and player of the match is going to go over to Reiner. Very talented, seeing that Ryan come out, leading that charge, and the Gladiators to victory. They looked very confident on the comp that you haven't seen them play on stage, which is always interesting. And it's just real big gameplay, maintain difference. Huge stuff. Atlanta, we'll see HADI and Reiner in their nightmares, I suspect. Definitely not great from the Atlanta Reign. So that's it for this match. These matches, only two. Quick 12-minute review. But yeah, expect a power ranking / a preview coming out tomorrow or the next day. And some other stuff probably on the horizon. But yeah, that's it for me. If anyone's wondering what happened in OWL today, or what happened in the matches today, send the video, give it a like, give it a subscribe for sure, no doubt. So yeah, have a good one and deuces.